Currently, state road funding comes from three sources: the gasoline tax, registration fees, and a tax on newly purchased vehicles. Mattox predicts those revenue sources will remain consistent over the next 5 years, but Transportation Committee Chair Senator Bob Beach says state roads are quickly becoming an underfunded liability.
So although those things are remaining flat, inflation's eating into it, as the Secretary alluded to, and we have 30% less buying power than we did 10 years ago.
The Blue Ribbon Commission is still working to finalize its recommendations for new revenue sources, but Mattox says he isn't proposing legislation this session to take on the funding issue.
One of the things that I would recommend is let's wait and see what the Federal Highway Administration does. Their current legislation expires October 1st of this year. Let's see how they address it over the summer and the fall, and see if they give us continuing resolutions or if they address the federal funding issue.
Mattox says then the state can better assess any federal funding gap. But some lawmakers want to look for solutions now. During the meeting, Senator Bill Cole suggested pushing some of the funding responsibility down to the county and city level, which Mattox says dozens of states already do.
I think it's a great idea if you give the local government some means to raise revenue, or at least to bring additional revenue to the table so that we could work with them in getting some of the projects they feel are critical for their area to grow.
Beach says legislation to give that local control is being talked about and may be introduced during this session.
Potentially what you would see is that the county commission in those individual counties, and this is just a tool in the toolbox, would develop a road program, develop a plan for new roads in their area. Then they would submit that proposal to the Department of Highways. They would then have to sign off on it. So then it goes back home for public hearings, and then ultimately the county commission will be able to sign off on those new roads or bridges in their communities.
Beach says the legislation could also be expanded upon, allowing counties and municipalities to help fund water, sewer, and even broadband internet expansion projects.